Hello everybody and welcome back to Last Minute Kickout. I am Kevin. This is John Turbo Finley and we are back. I know it has been a very, very long time. Basically, the world. You may have noticed the world happened. Wrestling sort of happened during that time, but there was other things to sort, unfortunately. But don't worry, we are back. We are back to discuss the wonder that was SummerSlam, I guess. TBC on the score. Wait and see. But again, you will notice there's only two of us. That is because Mr. Pete Titans Creed Nevercutt is taking a short leave of absence to tour Japan, Mexico, and basically do a lot of PR work for his new wrestling school. Some of that's true, not very much. But the point is, he's on a little break. He'll be back very soon, we hope. But you might wonder then, what's happening with the title? Well, we put the predictions title on the line. Aha, Mr. Confident Pete, with his fucking felt like decades at that point, long title reign.
Yeah, in fact, he was having the Brock Lesnar reign of predictions contest.
Turned up twice. Turned up twice, defended it twice, and then had about when was Mania?
That was back in April.
Back in April, so he'd had 4 months of basically not defending stuff, and then I made him defend it. So man, it would be absolutely terrible if somebody else won the belt.
Yeah, I just don't know exactly. I just can't really think of who could have had a clean sweep
he
of
did as
predictions.
Well. He did as well. He 100%ed SummerSlam. He 100%ed SummerSlam. Oh.
Yes.
What a terrible thing. He 100%ed SummerSlam. He guessed what was in Vince McMahon's head. And that's a terrible place to be. But yes, it turns out that Scotland's on a bit of a roll when it comes to belts at the minute.
Well, granted, I did have a really good start of the year when I had Royal Rumble predictions being fantastic.
That is true. You've been a bit on the money recently, and now you have the gold.
Yes. So I just Claymore my prediction.
Punless Claymore, right? Okay.
I don't know where I was going. With that.
Doesn't matter. You got the belt. You're the champ. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's fine. It's right there. It's nice. It's nice and presented.
This podcast goes wherever I say because I'm the champ. Right. So we are going to talk about WWE SummerSlam 2020, and before we get into the actual match, of course, we have the location to quickly touch upon, the Amway Center in Florida. Hey, if I was going to find a place where I would set up shop for the rest of this period of time that we're dealing with COVID-19 and that fans are not quite allowed in the venue yet, what I would certainly do is set up in Florida. That place with absolutely no problem with hotspots and loads of people positive at all. No.
Nah.
So, is it me, or did they basically just say, hey, what if the introductory sequence to SmackDown was actually a thing?
Oh yeah, aye. It's like that is pretty much what they had. It's like they just looked at the the design, the kind of like intro for it, and it's like, you know what? I think with today's technology, I think we could make that a reality.
It was bad. The situation was going to be bad with regard to the WWE ThunderDome, because no.
Yeah, because apparently Vince McMahon can't simply get beyond need to go
no
beyond the point of call of providing for the audience. So Yeah.
One of the wrestlers asked on Twitter the other day actually is Mad Max like responsible for like the most wrestling related
yes it is
gimmicks for a movie in history?
Because you got what was it in WCW? You had one of the match types being influenced by Mad Max.
There's about half a dozen teams and gimmicks and all sorts.
Yeah,
just
Road Warriors, Demolition
from this like one team in terms of look or just direct name.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But you knew it was bad, didn't you? Because we actually heard from somebody who we don't normally hear from in the run up to this. We heard
that was Kevin Dunn.
Kevin Dunn.
Yeah, that like what it's like once every 50 blue moons he comes out of his production cave to address the masses. Yeah.
A man with a top hat reached into his hole, pulled it out, and he said to the world, "We're going to have 4 more weeks of coronavirus." That's what basically happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were informed there was going to be drone footage, and there was going to be lasers, and there was going to be more lights, and there was going to be more video walls, and it was basically you just hear him furiously masturbating off to the amount of tech he's going to be able to use. And apparently they brought back all the lasers that they used in Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah,
they brought those back with them apparently.
The production value just like shot up. I think obviously that's a mixture, a mix of both, like space area, because obviously at the performance center you didn't really have much in the way of space
power
to do all that.
As well, power.
Yeah.
It's not, as we got to remember that the performance center is not designed to put out television.
No, it's there.
I can't imagine the amount of outside generators and things they had to do, and the amount of like restructuring to just the wiring in the place, probably. Whereas Amway's and Amway Center.
I mean, granted, not even the Full Sail itself is any bigger than the Performance Center, but the Performance Center had like minimal kind of like stuff to work with. But I mean, it's you always heard the stories for the Performance Center of being able to record footage.
They set it up to record. They didn't set it up to broadcast.
Yeah.
And obviously Full Sail's a little bit different because they, again, much like old ThunderDome here, it's a residency at Full Sail. It's a contract.
Yeah.
They've put down a lot of work to prep the venue for NXT and everything else that it needs. Plus, there was some stuff there already, I understand. So, but yes. What did you think of the look of ThunderDome and just the atmosphere of ThunderDome?
Well, seeing that SummerSlam was pretty much the first time of me seeing the ThunderDome in full and whatnot, because I didn't see the SmackDown beforehand in full. Like I've only seen because unlike the rest, everyone else, I mean, I don't watch the daily product. I just watch the pay-per-views now because I just don't have enough time to watch like 8 hours of wrestling content a week.
We're at the point where there's actually too much wrestling. You have to pick.
Yeah,
you have to pick or give up. Outside interests.
Yeah, I mean, heck, it's worse for me to try to catch up with the wrestling news on a daily basis because there's so many news stories that come out from all this. I mean, and as you know, we haven't covered in any videos after WrestleMania. There's been a lot that's happened over the last several months, and
a lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of incredibly sad situations going on.
But but going back to the topic at hand, ThunderDome, it's, I wasn't too fussed with the empty arena to a certain point. However, with ThunderDome or WWE ThunderDome, because I have to use the full, right? Yeah.
That's a good question. How is that going to work trademark wise? I don't know how they got the ThunderDome must be trademarked for something else, surely.
ThunderDome is actually trademarked by a variety of different kind of companies and whatnot. But I think WWE can get away with it because they probably found a loophole of it being part of
wrestling and entertainment.
Something like that, somewhere around there.
But then that doesn't. But then that surprises me that that one of the independents didn't register ThunderDome as a thing.
Well, one independent got to War Games copyright.
Briefly,
so yeah. Well, WWE was able to buy it off of them, obviously. So, but nevertheless, I mean, with how they have WWE fans in Zoom calls on monitors around, and it's only just on one side of the ring. It's not on both. It's not like
it's hard cam side. It's not.
Yeah, it's hard cam side, so it's nothing.
Why would you, apart from that and the first couple of rows for when it's around the?
Yeah, but and it's a cost effective measure as well. The only downside is that they don't have the mic. You can't hear those Zoom calls. You can't hear the audience. You get this piped in kind of noise, and that is what draws me out more than empty arenas. Because empty arenas, at least that it's all just natural, down to earth, and all you're hearing is just the action that's inside the ring and whatnot.
It's impressive in a way that they're able to do that on the fly. In terms of the mixing in, just descents and whatever.
I mean, even then, it's they do mistime it at times, because there's and we'll mention it obviously during the review of SummerSlam itself. There's moments where I was watching it, and then the filtered in noise is the wrong kind of noise to be played at that moment in time, where the heel is showboating and just being and it's yeah.
And there's at least one instance where a reaction was given to a performer that in no way on earth they would have got that reaction 7 days before. They wouldn't have got that reaction now for reasons outside of the ring, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that one. I think I messaged something either on our Discord or I tweeted it, and just saying when I was watching it, it was that the piped in noise just immediately took me out, because there was there's the sound of a crowd and there's the sound of piped in noise, and they are different, and you can immediately tell. This is one of the whole things when they were overdubbing the crowd for Roman Reigns. It wasn't it's it wasn't oh no, it was this is massive investigation as to whether or not this was. No, you can tell immediately. There's something about it. It's colder, it's sharper, it doesn't have the energy of a crowd. You can sense the energy of a crowd in the sound that it makes. And it's a lovely recording, or recordings, that they managed to mesh and merge together. But at the second I saw that, and it's I can see why they've done it. I can see it, but in a way, it would have been better, like you say, just to have none of it, really, and then just leave it over to the performers, because hearing them, it wasn't a you talk too much situation. It's you talk, and we actually hear you now, and you know that we'll hear you. So there's a bit more sort of character development in a way through that, strangely. Anyway, it is what it is. We're stuck with it for the foreseeable future, unless you want to turn over to another channel and watch AEW. But so we've got it, and we'll go to the kickoff show, which I kind of forgot existed.
And luckily enough, the kickoff show wasn't like previous kickoff shows where it was 2 hours of nonsense.
We were dreading this.
Yeah, it's I thought that. Now, remember with past WrestleManias and stuff like that, when it's the 7-hour slogs. Now, granted, obviously this past year it was separated into 2 nights, thankfully, and whatnot. But it wasn't the case for SummerSlam because they always tried to make SummerSlam the second WrestleMania essentially by trying to make it as big.
It's your 50% through on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
it's your halfway house for the season of wrestling.
But because of the situation that we were in and whatnot, they actually scaled back, which is good. You know, it wasn't as long as prior years of SummerSlam, like the last couple of years. So now I didn't watch the entire pre-show. I just watched the solo match that they had for the pre-show. So because I just didn't find the heart to kind of like keep watching these analysts working on these shows and whatnot. However, I am gutting that we saw the last kind of like analyst pre-show kind of like broadcast of Renee Young on this on SummerSlam.
Oh boy, is she going to be missed?
Yeah,
in terms of this company and its broadcasting ability.
Because she was with them for a good number of years, like about 4 or 5 years in the company, as like an analyst, as a presenter, as an announcer, as a backstage interviewer and whatnot. She was doing a lot in the company, and she tried her best in some of those kind of like roles. Of course, she was given a lot of crap to work with, but whatever she did it in stride, and she was probably one of the best broadcasters that company has seen in a number of years, because they've had a lot of broadcasters come in and out of that company that were just not fit for the product, and Renee Young was able to fit that into that product. It's just a shame that she couldn't do more.
Well, and she wanted to, and she had the offers to do so, and the opportunity and the motivation. Renee Young is bigger than what WWE can provide at this time. In terms of the amount of what came out when she announced it was the sheer amount of respect for her as a broadcaster from people in the industry and outside of the wrestling industry. She's got no problems in terms of book. Plus, she's got that cookbook that she's done out of nowhere. I've done a cookbook. Sure, why not? Not the first person involved with that company that's done a cookbook. So
now you're making me want to reference Airplane now.
No. So yeah, United States match. Apollo Crews MVP, 6.5 minutes. Did you see this? Because I did not. I knew what the result would be. It was one of those. I knew what the result would be.
Well, it was the same for myself. I knew what the result would be, but I had a look at it. It was really. It was like how the kind of like the build for this has been since Apollo Crews got back the United States. Well, I say got back. He technically didn't lose it in the first place, to a certain degree. The match itself was just very, like, boring. It was just boring. It's like MVP got a little action in there, and then Apollo Crews was able to make the comeback, and it was there was no, like, MVP has his entourage of Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin at the moment, calling them. Oh, what are they calling themselves now? The
not the Beatdown Crew. That was the TNA thing, wasn't it?
It's like
but it's something like that.
It's somewhere along the lines of that. But no, MVP for some bizarre reason wanted to have them go back into the back to the locker room.
He's an honourable face. Is our MVP?
Yeah.
Old Montel, he's heart of gold.
Yeah.
I mean, outside the ring, apparently so, but
yeah. And then
character-wise, yeah, clearly.
Yeah. And what was it? After the match, after Apollo wins and retains the title and whatnot, in come the boys to do the beatdown, and then Apollo Crews was able to beat them back and whatnot. So this is how, and this is the opposite of how they've been booking Drew for all these months, of like how, because this is not the best way of making your champion face, very, likable and, entertaining.
No. It's not really done the United States title any favors.
Yeah, we're going back to
and we're not. If there's a belt that could do with help, it's the US title. Well, actually, saying that, we could probably throw in about half a dozen belts at this point in time, but including one that Mr. Benjamin's wearing.
Although given that they were trying to help it by giving a much needed redesign, which, by the way, I actually liked it first time around.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why that US title hung around for so long. And yes, in terms of size, in terms of design, it was out of sync with all the others, but it looked nice. The US title, it legitimately looked nice. I'm so on the new one.
No, no. With me, I actually like.
You like the new one?
Yeah, I was one of those people who actually appreciated the new one straight out of the bat.
I do like the eagle design.
Because that's why I think, because when I remembered the US title, I remembered the WCW version of the US title, which had the eagle as part of the design.
Don't tell them that, they'll redesign it. Don't tell that, you'll wake Vince. He'll be having his 2-hour sleep a night, and he'll just, what was that, pal? He'll be straight on his phone getting it redesigned. Well, haven't they been sitting on tag belts as well? They've been sitting on tag belts for 6 months. New designs.
They've been rumored, yeah. So I don't know where they've been. I mean, all of this malarkey.
They've lost all. They're half finished. They're not going to take them on TV like the TNT belt.
Mm. Oh, although granted that belt's now finished. So
that belt's finished. I really like the design of that, actually.
Yeah,
in terms of
the finished design,
classic belt. I like it. I mean, it looks silly with the TNT logo on it, but it's the belt for the network. What else is going to?
Yeah, of course. Where else are you got to put the blooming logo for it?
Anyway, so yes.
But yeah, the match overall, it's just very throwaway.
It's a kickoff show match, and not in the New Day Usos, which we will forever place as our high bar for kickoff matches, and it's more your traditional. I'm sorry to say. We'll say commentary: Saxton, Samoa Joe, and Tom Phillips.
Yeah, that's for Raw.
Yeah, but they for that as well, and I like that trinity. I like more if Joe was in the ring, but
yes, that's the thing. It's like, I like Joe. He's amazing on the mic. He could work the mic as best as Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre currently and whatnot, and AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. Even Seth Rollins can work the mic quite well at points, but he is above everyone else when it comes to mic work, and yet we've got him on the booth, but we can't have him in the ring for some reason. So it's like, come on, WWE, just let the man wrestle. Just put him in a program. Put him in a program with Seth.
No, I'd say put him straight in for a big hoss fight against Keith Lee, but they just injure each other. So, it'd be very bad. They'd totally go to town each other. It'd be amazing for about 3 matches, and then one of them would injure the other. If not, they'd both injure each other.
Yeah.
And whatever, I don't know. It's at least Joe's had the opportunity to heal up some of the other injuries as well, the nagging stuff that he's had. So, and hey, it's proof once again that sometimes the best commentators are wrestlers. In terms of color and factual. So,
yeah.
SummerSlam properly began, and I'm slightly surprised they did this, if I'm honest. But SmackDown women's title match: Bayley versus Asuka. I enjoyed this quite a lot.
That's fine, because that's what I would expect from Asuka. Because Asuka is just obviously now that the hierarchy of the women's division has shifted because of the absence of Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Although, granted, Charlotte Flair's absence is more beneficial for you than anyone else on this planet.
You know what? I actually, after this match, I legitimately just sort of sat up in my chair and just went, it's because she's not here, I got to enjoy this.
Yes.
I got to enjoy this one-on-one encounter between Asuka. We got Sasha on the outside doing her best to distract every minute of every bloody day. It felt like in what was going on, and one of the best bits of the match was when Asuka had the armbar on, and was just happened to be like facing the ropes. Right near where Sasha was, and Sasha's yelling in her face. She just drops the hold, just kicks her in the face. Just like, just straight, get out of it.
Although, I mean, the match itself was great. They obviously worked all right. Asuka being obviously, because this is like the first of 2 title matches that she was awarded. So she went for the SmackDown Women's title first. And then later in the night, she would face Sasha for the Raw Women's title. But no, she went in there, guns blazing, obviously, because she was that adamant. One of the moves that was very devastating that I didn't really think that she would do, and I can't remember if she's done this before. She did a jumping... like aerial DDT from the steel steps, and I only remembered that because Michael Cole made the wrong call of saying Bayley with the DDT. Is like, Cole, that was Asuka.
I think Cole was distracted by Bayley selling it like she'd had skull cracked and just screaming. It looked devastating, and it was one of those. It was one of those where actually, if it was any other wrestler, they'd be like boom, and then just be like dead. But because Bayley sold it like, straight hands to being in position and sort of rocking and like just screaming, you actually thought she was hurt. And that was good. It was good selling, actually. That pay-per-view, I was really happy with the thing. Selling.
Yeah, because they have been able to kind of like work on that during this environment and whatnot to try to hide the the calls. Well, try their best to hide the calls and whatnot.
Yeah, no, it's really good. We'll get on to hiding the calls later in another match, because there's something that I'm going to bring up, and it's. I've noticed it for a while, and it's just got to the point where it's really pissed me off as to how transparent it is. But yeah, really good. There was one. I mean, it wasn't a botch, but Asuka happened to be like a step too far back when we did sunset flip into the buckles, and basically kind of hit the ropes. But whatever. Bayley brought out a lot. I mean, Cole called this actually. That Bayley brought out a lot from her playbook that she doesn't normally do. In terms of, we had like an Indian deathlock type maneuver. We had all sorts. She was trying everything to get it over and done with, which helped Asuka, because it just went, hey, Bayley's going to this place which she doesn't really go to anymore. It's like bringing out some of the NXT stuff, and it's just like it put over Asuka more, because it's like, well, okay, it's serious enough that Bayley's gone straight to the well with all this other stuff first and foremost. So that did well. Asuka was Oscar's Oscar. We know that.
Yeah, you don't need to say any more.
Yeah,
it's like she can really work hard for and bring a lot of psychology in a match just by her actions alone. She doesn't need to be jaw-jacking in English to do it. You know,
it's amazing that in an era with no crowd, Oscar's had the best crowd reaction in an era with no crowd. Oscar's connected with the home audience better than anybody else has, I think. Possibly Drew in there as well, because Drew's the only person that's actually going out to the audience and specifically talking to them.
Yeah.
It's crazy that Oscar's managed to get over even more just purely based on her personality alone. Like I say, in an era where there isn't anybody there. But yeah, love this. Could have quite happily watch another 10 minutes. This.
Well, you didn't have to, because we would get to another match of her coming up later.
Oh, absolutely.
So we'll talk about that later.
Absolutely, but we had the setup though. We had the setup with going after the knee, going after Oscar's knee, and then Oscar not being very happy about that and going after everybody else's knee in both matches. It was like, which is a very Oscar thing to do. I thought it's like, hey, I know you're gonna. I'll just do the same to you. Just be aware of that. All good. Bayley wins thanks to Sasha Banks getting in the way and getting knocked off the apron.
Yeah, she took the brunt of the attack and would then be the distraction that Bayley would take advantage of.
Yeah.
So
it was odd because it was a roll up off of her sitting position in between the second and third row. But
yeah.
She kind of like DDT'd her as well as she went over, which I thought was actually kind of cool, because it was like a DDT into a cradle position, and it was something a little bit different. She got the free, and I kind of purely put it down to the fact that, hey, she DDT'd her as well, as opposed to just a normal roll up, because it's Oscar. You're not going to beat Oscar just with a basic roll up, for God's sake, unless somebody else is booking the match for her. But it's, hey, Bayley wins, and it's all thanks to Sasha.
Yeah.
Not the fact that it was a really good match as well, but hey. During that match, we had a brief picture-in-picture interview with the Street Profits, because we really needed that. What I liked was okay, so Retribution.
Oh,
if you're listening to the audio version, you will not have seen the face that Turbo just made, but I agree with it 100%. Retribution, it sucks. It's going to suck. We know it sucks. Also, why this has been done?
It's some way of remember Nexus, where that was supposed to be shocking when they debuted and stuff like that. And it's like they're trying to do a vanilla, like a more WWE PG version of Nexus again, and it's not working any sort of. It's just terrible.
It's not even that. It's freaking. It's like Muhammad Hassan's army. You know?
Exactly.
It's
yes.
That. It's you should be afraid of this. These people
this
are
militia.
Going out there and call this militia, this group of young people going out and protesting us, and you should be afraid of them. You should be afraid of protesters. McMahon Social Commentary 101. Oh, also, the Iraqis and the Russians are coming for you. It's an evolution of the foreign heel, except it's a domestic heel, and the domestic heel is whatever McMahon wants you to believe in.
It's basically the domestic heel that is currently the big hot topic on the news, essentially.
Yeah. Just basic freedoms and not being murdered for the color of your skin. That kind of freedom. I think Big E said it best on Twitter, where it was like, just get this crap off of my TV, get this crap out of my company, please, thank you.
Yeah.
Didn't try to sugarcoat it. They know what it is. They know exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrible. And it's not gonna pay off in any way, shape, or form. However, it was not because they did a whole video package setup right at the beginning. It's like, okay, well, we're here in this venue. And, part of the reason why is this, these guys, and they've done this, and, they've been doing this, and they've been trying to interfere with stuff, and what have you. And it was nice that they didn't call attention to it, but during that video package, there was still a little bit of, like, video distortion, digital distortion.
Yeah.
Very subtle, very little, that made it look like somebody was trying to do something but couldn't.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there wouldn't be that much on this one, but it just because the 2 nights before, you had Retribution affecting the Thunderdome or WWE Thunderdome beforehand and whatnot, but now they weren't being too effective this time around.
Did they close the loopholes that they found in the security or what have you? You kind of left it up to you to make up your own mind. But I just like the fact that there was still something going on, but it wasn't called out.
Yeah, it wasn't the focal point.
It was so subtle that you wouldn't have necessarily. It wasn't like, oh yeah, power noise and lights going out. That said, the feed on the recording on the network is also, it cuts out on like 2 or 3 occasions just throughout.
Yeah,
just randomly for like a second and a half.
Yeah,
barely anything, but enough to.
I think there is a reasoning for that, because during the broadcast and whatnot, there was a lot of questionable material.
Questionable visitors.
Yeah.
Questionable visitors in the crowd.
Yeah. With some unique signage
people,
as well.
Yes, unique signage. People from beyond the grave. People supporting 3 letters, none of which are H. Yeah.
So that's probably the reason
also
why.
Pikachu and Mario, and that's more.
I mean, that was fun.
That's more than
that's fun.
No. They didn't buy a ticket. Sling them out. They're just there to promote their own products. They can go and they can sign a marketing deal like everybody else. That said, Mario, as you know, he's actually a WWE Hall of Famer. He's in the celebrity wing.
Yeah.
2021 class, but you're not supposed to know that yet.
Wait, well, we haven't even had 2020 class yet. So,
exactly. That's actually a thing that's been said. Like, when are we going to have the 2020 class? At the 2021 class, like, okay.
Just like the Olympics.
Could we not, have that Survivor Series or something? Would that be doable? Or the other next big pay-per-view? Could we just have it then? Have it in the Rumble? Maybe. No, we're going to slam 2 classes together so that the poor 2021 class is just overshadowed by, oh look, here comes the NWO, here comes Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I don't think I could handle one big night of 2 classes going in.
If you actually, that in itself is tone deaf in this year of all years. Let's make Hulk Hogan another Hall of Famer.
Dear.
So Street Profits, with it's raining red cups from the sky, but only in one location, halfway across the stage. At the beginning, they can summon red cups now, and apparently all the people in the crowd were like instructed, like, have you got red cups? You should get red cups. If you've got red cups, make sure you're raising them in at home when they're coming out. Hint.
Yeah.
Hint. versus Andrade and Angel Garza with Zelina Vega, who should be wrestling but is the manager of various mid-cards.
Yeah, it's weird of her, like still only being a valet or manager or advocate to Andrade and other person to be part of a team.
But what was even more weird recently was when Bianca Belair randomly attacked Xena in her home while she was doing an interview on stream, just randomly in like gear as well. Just like Aleister Black like opened the door and she was like there or something and managed to push past Aleister Black. Oh, that was the people saying. So what? Aleister Black's in the house, and they know that Aleister Black's in the house. So what was he just like sitting in the chair opposite, just watching this all go down? But we had this, and as I said to you, John, I have no idea how the Street Profits are like. Well, now about 180 days with the time. How has this happened?
I don't know.
Apart from the pandemic, what have they done?
Well, for the fact that they haven't really been defending the titles at all, to one extent. Like, they've had a program with the Viking Raiders that felt like bloomin' 20 Ice Ages of them just faffing around in these skits, kind of like videos.
Endless skits.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
We ended up with the Viking Prophets, didn't we? We all four of them took on Tozawa's band of ninjas because again racism. That's basically it.
It's like, hey, you're Japanese. You're connected to? Ninjas. Have a bunch of them. And one big one while you're at it. You know, referencing the big giant ninja from WCW.
Yep. That was it. But actually, my favourite thing of those skits though is the fact that Viking Raiders have access to. I said this to you guys outside of these recordings, but the fact that he's not got access to hammer space, he's got access to ham space, where he's just able to reach down like
ham space,
big ham hock. He's just able to bring out of nowhere. I just love the fact that it's like clear somebody in the writing team has just done that, knowing the trope. Makes no sense.
No,
this
well,
match,
I was.
Yeah. This match was. It was alright.
I mean, it's fine. Like the tag team dynamic of Profits worked well, and Garza and Andrade obviously, working as a good heel kind of like tag team as well, working together, working quite well with working on, I think it was Dawkins, I think it was. It was like when he was in like
Dawkins
the tree.
Worked over quite a lot.
Yeah, it's like when they were in the Tree of Woe. And it's like that. That's the only time I can appreciate Andrade doing the whole like Tree of Woe drop, stomp on there, because at least Garza was there propping up Dorson up on it. That's the only time I will accept that move. Because every other time it's just like, stop it, no, stop it.
No, somebody wouldn't do that.
No, just stop doing the move entirely. Because it's not only dangerous, it's also stupid.
Yeah.
So
there's a logic gap and there's a safety question.
Yeah.
On that.
But
yeah.
But the overall dynamic of the teams and whatnot did actually work all right. Like Profits were at full form with their tag team dynamic, and the dissension at the end where Zelina Vega got involved in the finish and Andrade got distracted and
she got knocked off the apron too. So of the two matches so far, the finish involved a lady getting knocked off the apron in two matches in a row.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's.
But it made sense. I love the fact that Andrade and Zelina are still tight. in terms of that they're still deemed tight as a unit, and they immediately went over there, and you can buy that it's a genuine concern from the heel.
Yeah, it's just them though. It's like Garza is completely separated from the picture.
Exactly. There is that fact that okay, they're this package, and there's like something else has been sort of sellotaped onto them, and that something is Angel Garza, and I still don't get Angel Garza as a performer.
Same here. I mean, he got called up way too fast. Really,
he's gotten a lot better, but he it's not so much that he looks green; he just feels green in some of the moves and some of the actions within the ring.
Yeah, he's not comfortable with how the main style of WWE is.
That's exactly it. He doesn't come across as somebody who's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes coming across as comfortable in the WWE ring is in itself distracting.
Yeah.
But he feels like somebody who doesn't belong. Street Profits were okay. Angelo Dawkins can jump high.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I swear I've never seen anyone jump so high off of the top rope and also turn around 180 degrees to change his trajectory. It's like I thought the only person that we would ever see like that would be Rob Van Dam in our lifetime, but no.
As we've seen previously, when Rob's gone up to the wrong corner and has somehow 5-star managed to 5-star, like going 90, a full 180. Change of direction, change of angle as well.
Aye.
It was like, and we had Kevin, your friend Kevin Owens.
Oh, on commentary. Yeah, he was on commentary. Yeah, I totally forgot he was on commentary.
He sort of just chimed in every so often and had a nice.
Oh yeah, it's like again, yeah, it's like he was just putting a little thing because he was kind of involved in like the build up.
Yeah, he was there. It was again building up the Retribution storyline that he was kind of there to sort of keep half an eye out. I mean, Samoa Joe ran away last time, which was like it's the most un-Samoa Joe thing Samoa Joe has ever done.
Yeah,
Samoa Joe wouldn't have cared a flying fig. You know how many people were there. Samoa Joe would have hurt some fools because he's Samoa frickin' Joe.
I'll bring that up later on in the show with one of the matches coming up soon.
Yeah. So, and Kevin Owens was discussing it when they came over to the announcers to celebrate, and he was saying to them, "Was like I've never seen anyone do that before." And it was kind of odd to see like a wrestler or hear a wrestler, at least one-sided conversation, a wrestler giving another wrestler props.
I mean, he's a great high flyer himself. So when he is acknowledging that, then by all means,
he's seen so much on the independent circuit. He's been with all manner of people, coming up through the ranks. He's seen them all, and he's fought most of them. So, the fact that everyone was going, hey, that is, it may seem simple, but just think about what's going on. The audience saying to the audience, hey, think about what's going on when he's actually doing this, and how to go from that position to that position, all within one motion, mid-air precision. It's just absolutely unreal. Mm-hmm. Street Profits retain. This is where my points started going down, folks. I went for as soon as I realised how many days they'd had it, and the fact that also the rumor coming out was that they were going to consider SummerSlam a reset.
Yeah.
On stuff, because now that people were they would start to get people in, maybe. That it was like, okay, well, good time to reset and just give the belt to those guys. But hey, no. Right. The match that suddenly had the most press was up next
for all the wrong reasons. Yeah.
Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville in a loser leaves WWE no disqualification match, as it ended up becoming.
Yes, because originally it was going to be a hair versus hair match.
And,
Until
yeah, I've got something to say about that in a second. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, until recent actions happened where Sonya Deville we could have had another like tragedy, remember back in 2000, I think it was like 2006, before Armageddon, where the incident of that happened and whatnot. We were very close to having another incident like that happen. However, it wouldn't be as well. It would be traumatic, yes, but it's still a bit. It's like, actually, you know what? It's very bad because I just watched an animation series, and it talked about it had an episode, a part of the episode where they had a very disturbed fan of an idol group wanting to injure one of the idols in that group because of how they've hurt the group and stuff. Like, he was totally crazy, and this is that same kind of thing, and that could have happened. That could have turned out very badly.
Yeah.
For Sonya Deville, and I don't know whether or not it's because of her. I don't know what the reasoning behind.
Just obsessed. He was just absolutely obsessed. Every single.
I thought it was because of
No.
Deville was.
He was absolutely 100% obsessed. Every tweet he wrote was about her. He only retweeted.
By the way,
her.
we're not mentioning him by name because he doesn't deserve to be named.
Absolutely not. But it just, his entire online existence revolved around what Sonya Deville was doing and where she was and how she was, and yeah, I mean, whether or not you've listened to his stuff normally, might be worth checking out Cornette's video on this, actually, because he kind of goes into the ins and outs and
as much with Cornette.
Yeah,
he could be a bit controversial at times, but for something like this,
controversial the others.
Oh yeah,
as he puts it, this is a complete, as much as this man is clearly very clear. This is a there's somebody who's disturbed and who's upset. Then there's somebody who goes fucking equipped with all the tools you require, not just to kidnap somebody, but to do some very bad things to them. This was planned. Super planned, and
not just towards the one individual. It was like their entire family and possibly friends.
Well,
and
because the other thing was we were because the other person that was there in the building at the time while he was Mandy Rose, who was staying there.
Yeah,
and
I mean, granted, many people were probably thinking, kayfabe.
No,
screw that now.
Actually, but saying that, if you'd imagine this had actually happened in the 70s or 80s.
Because we'd have
been hearing how Sonya Deville was being punished by the company for having somebody stalk her at this point in time because of broken kayfabe. It's just the whole book. But thank God thank God that she and Mandy are both safe.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, this guy is locked up. And it did result in this change to loser leaves WWE, disqualification. Which I was fine for two reasons. Number one, clearly, apparently, the lawyer said that she couldn't get her hair for some reason. And I don't get that.
Well, no, it makes sense because obviously if you're going into a court of law and you need to be presentable at a court of law, the last thing you need to be going into there is
also,
this woman to be completely shaved off.
Yeah, it might be something to making sure that, it's very clear that on the stuff that he's done and said and posted is about her. And to reduce any benefit of doubt. How the fuck you would give any benefit of doubt in this situation, God alone knows. But lawyers be lawyers.
Yeah.
And so it changes. So losing WWE means that Sonya can go away and get this shit sorted, and highly emotional time. Well done, Sonya Deville, for getting straight back on our screen, doing a really nice promo segment, by the way, on the SmackDown prior, I think it was, when all this was going down, and it was like when they teased, actually this wasn't going to happen, and no, actually she's still going through with it. The other thing I'm really pleased about why this stipulation changed was because exactly why it was happening. Someone in the back was going, "Hey pal, why she got long hair? Lesbians have crew cuts."
Yeah.
And that spot came up.
Yeah.
It was suggested because her sexuality, and that was purely it.
Yeah. No, I can agree that it was best for this to be changed and not be the stereotype and whatnot. Because I've got a lot of friends who are in that community. We got a lot of that, and frankly, they have a variety of different styles, a variety of different colors and stuff like that, and it's not a stereotype for for a lesbian woman to have short hair. No, they can have long hair, they can have short hair, they can have a style, they can have it in whatever.
People are people.
Yes, they have they have taste.
And again, we're not back in the 80s. When we were growing up, 80s for me, and 90s, I guess, for you, John, or late 80s.
Well,
it's still 90s, it was the stereotype then. All butch lady, shaved hair, all crew cut, or even skinheads is the other one. Was at the time. Bullshit. So that's the reason why I'm very glad that it was changed anyway, because it was telegraphed from a mile away.
Oh yes.
B, I was wondering if they would do, because they'd given Mandy this new T-shirt, and I was wondering if they were going to do that thing that they do a couple of times when they give somebody a new T-shirt and then they make the T-shirt utterly redundant immediately on Shop Zone. But yeah, good. And this is all boils down to what I said at the beginning of our show with the crowd reaction, because everybody, and they instructed the people at home to. You see so many people going like that on the thing, and it's like you don't do that. You don't do unless you think you're on camera. You don't do that. Nobody was gonna boo. Nobody was gonna boo Sonya Deville if this was a crowd.
Not legitimately.
Yeah, Sonya Deville would have.
They would have been going.
Yeah, Sonya Deville would have got a big fuck off cheer. What would have happened, and then boo her during the match, sure, but coming into the match, she would have got the biggest fucking pop she'd have ever got, because everybody was just like, and it was weird, and it would have been very weird because Mandy would have come out and she'd have been booed, because even though Mandy's the one wronged here, technically going into the match she would have actually been the heel just because of the situation outside.
Yeah.
The ring.
Point being though, what happened to Mandy Rose? Because I have not really watched this build up and whatnot. What happened to her hair?
That was new.
That
was new.
Was that like previously?
As soon as the hair versus hair thing went out of the way, she got herself a new hairdo, which doesn't then match the one she's got on the T-shirt. But she's got away from the slight Karen Bob. And she's moved towards this sort of slick back thing that looks really weird because you see the roots.
Yeah, it just threw me off as soon as she made her entrance, because, like I said, I've not been watching the build. I've just been listening to the build.
Also, she was in like a very different
outlets.
style of gear. She still had her gold boots and whatever, but she was in like a different style of gear, and it was like it kind of threw us all, threw me off. I think it threw a lot of other people off as well.
Yeah, aye.
But maybe that was just signifying this new attitude, because she was very, very. It was very. I loved this match, by the way.
I mean, it was a fair.
But
yeah, the actual match itself was a fair kind of like, okay, it's no holds barred. Let's just have a brawl here. Now, granted, they tried to be a little technical, but it didn't really work out. And there was some notable thing, like Mandy does need to work out a bit more to get her strength up, because I just vividly just remembered
she picked her up and it was like, oh my god, please put her
like
down.
It's like the table spot, or like, well, actually, I say table spot. It's like,
oh, the table, yes, the table. She's good. I kind of felt sympathy on that because you've seen it happen before.
Yeah, I've seen it happen before with other women trying to set up a table. The way that the guys do is by just like setting up there and then boom. Yeah,
you need height,
but you need that and
strength.
Like proper like arm strength and whatnot. And Mandy just didn't have it, sadly. So
well, at least get your knees underneath it when you flip it. For God's sake.
Yeah, aye. But other than that, it's like there was just a slightly like I mean, you might have liked this match a little bit more than I did.
I imagine so.
Yeah, I it's like outside of everything that happened, I was like obviously just I was just seeing the match as it was, and it was a bit sloppy at times.
Oh, yes.
It was very sloppy. And what was it? I mean, I'm not like, okay, I like NXT matches, like, and I do like some of the kind of like NXT main event matches that happen, and many people complain about, oh, it's like spot fest, and it's like a constant finisher kick out. But I hate it when it's a finisher that has been repeated ad nauseum throughout the match, and it's been,
how many knees?
I counted 5.
I lost count of the knees.
Yeah,
it was both of them as well.
Yeah,
that was the
it's like the amount of knee. It's like I thought I was watching. I thought Shinsuke Nakamura came in at one time and just did a King Shasha out of nowhere, and just left.
There was a couple of very vicious ones. Very vicious.
Oh yeah, they were vicious and whatnot. But
if it was a men's match, it actually probably could have been the pin. Actually, but I don't know. I like the intensity in the match. I like the fact that whilst it was sloppy, it kind of lent to it a little bit, and it was very scrappy, and it wasn't. It was clear these people hated each other.
But that's the problem. It's like it's a blood feud and whatnot. And what's happening? Oh, they're calmly going down the ring. They're calmly waiting in the ring before they main event. And then the bell rings, and then they get into it. No, I wanted to see it. Like, I don't know what is wrong with these bookers for not booking these blood feuds right. But when there's a blood feud going on, one person gets into the ring, which is usually the heel to start off, and then the babyface just burst it to the ring and get into their face and start the match by beating the living crap out of them.
Best match I've ever seen to do that. And I think we've mentioned it on a previous LMKO show where I said that, hey, they kind of ripped it off. Was Taker Shawn Michaels at In Your House, where it started off with Shawn Michaels in the ring, and he's bloodied the Undertaker, and he's got stuff over on the Undertaker, and he's really cocky, and Taker comes down, and Shawn hides behind the ref. He's like, ooh, 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 and Taker's response is to fucking cave the referee's skull in with his fist because the ref's in the way. I remember McMahon's call. It was like, oh, it's gonna be one of those kind of matches. And Michaels immediately goes, fuck. He rolls out of the ring, goes to McMahon, who's obviously at the table at the side ring. He goes, I'm not doing this. No way. And he starts to walk up the ramp, and it's only Commissioner Slaughter that stops him. And then Undertaker, because he's still fucking mad, picks up the ref and hurls the ref over the top onto Shawn Michaels. But it made the most perfect sense because Undertaker didn't give a shit about the rules, didn't give a shit about the match. It wasn't no disqualification match at all. he wanted to beat the living shit out of Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels spent the first part of that match trying to just get away from the Undertaker. When you have we had the wonderful shot of the Undertaker beating him up the ramp. Shawn Michaels on hands and knees, on pounding on the front door of the In Your House set, trying to get in, but he can't. Or trying to escape, but he can't, and then being hurled down. And it was only after that is only when he actually gets like a low blow or something, and he's able to take advantage. Then actually he doesn't want the match to stop. But they go through like 3 refs, and the end of it, and then Tim White comes in and waves the whole thing off because like everyone and everything's being destroyed because the Undertaker doesn't give a shit about the match. He's not trying to go to pinfalls. He just wants to hurt him, and there needs to be more matches like that. So it's like if it's no disqualification match, which it was in this situation, they need to go to the well. I mean, I know they had the street fight immediately afterwards, which is kind of unfortunate booking. So they're a little bit limited. So it's like, Mandy brings up the apron. Hey, look, there's a stack of kendo sticks there under the ring in full view of the camera. Well, we're not going to go for that. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, now you just mentioned it, there was a lot of special stipulation matches on this card.
Yeah, no DQ street fight. The falls count anywhere. Yeah,
it's like that was like 3 of a 10 card match.
Yeah, so basically, we had 3 no disqualifications because a street fight is just no disqualification match.
Yeah.
But it falls count anywhere. Okay, it's a no disqualification match with the ability to just pin somebody outside of the ring. Well, there's a difference. So yeah.
But anyway, the match itself, it was just sloppy. It was too sloppy for me. It was like
I totally understand.
I wasn't. It's like it was just not. I can understand the build and whatnot and whatnot, but in terms of like the actual match on the night, it was just a little too sloppy.
Mandy wins.
Mandy wins, yeah, and Owens. Now you made me forget about this.
I put the wind up turbo, something chronic. When we
I was like,
hey, Buddy in the bank. I'm going to say I was like, Fiend wins, and then immediately loses it to Otis. And this was after the other guys put them in. It was like, oh my god, Buddy back. And I said the main thing, just like, the tagline of this one is, you won't see it coming. You'll never see it coming. And they're not subtle about these things, WWE and Turbo. It's just...
That's what I was like.
Turbo face t-shirt coming soon. But yeah, and then he turned up at the end of that match. And I was like, he's got the briefcase with him as well. I was like, hey,
wink.
He's in his gear for no goddamn reason.
But luckily enough, he was not. He that was his only appearance of the night, which I was like,
and then Mandy Rose did the world's worst caterpillar. What the hell was that about?
I don't know. She was like because I've tried to do like the worm before, like because I liked Scotty 2 Hotty back in the day. I loved him as a character, and I loved the worm. I tried to do the worm. I could never like be able to fall from my legs downward and whatnot. That's always a difficult thing. So I know where Mandy was.
There's a weird sort of trust thing, because if you fall down, you immediately try and do that, and you're kind of just solid.
Yeah.
So to be actually do that is actually
but she went like obviously like sort of doing the doing it front.
She did like a moonwalk caterpillar. It was weird.
Something like that. Yeah.
It was certainly something. It was something to behold, and it's now lives forever as part of the WWE Network, which, by the way, you can buy for whatever the price is now. I forget.
It's still $9.99.
It's still $9.99. It's just that there's more tiers and stuff.
Well, actually, no. There's just 2 tiers. There's a free tier and a $9.99 tier. That's it.
Yeah. And the free tier will have that as its main piece of content for now until 2023. When Shane McMahon sings,
or if you just go online, you can find the gift tier.
Go get a gifty.
Yeah, where you just get one of those as well as many multiple reactions, gifs of John Cena. It's like reacting to weird stuff.
Just that gif of John Cena. Where he was like,
Yeah.
That was when The Rock. That was
yeah.
That's when
When
Rock
it was
was
like
doing his speech at the Hall of Fame,
it was
wasn't
the Hall of Fame, yeah, of him saying that it's like, people getting tortured by watching
when it was 0 times in a lifetime.